Your microwave has more computing power than the computer that landed Apollo 11 on the moon. So why, 57 years later, with chips a billion times faster, is going back still so hard? The answer isn't software. It never was. The Apollo guidance computer had less memory than a cheap modern calculator, and yet it worked. Because landing on the moon was never really a computer problem. It was a metal problem, a fuel problem, a welding problem, a question of whether a machine could survive hell and still obey us. But the real reason Apollo worked is even more uncomfortable. America didn't go to the moon simply because it dreamed big. America went because it was losing. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. The Soviets weren't just winning, they were humiliating America in front of the world. And during the Cold War, space wasn't science fiction, it was power. So Kennedy made a promise: beat the Russians to the moon. And once that promise was made, America spent like failure was not allowed. At its peak, NASA consumed about 4% of the federal budget. Around 400,000 people worked across Apollo: engineers, welders, chemists, machinists, contractors. An industrial army built for one purpose: get there first. That's why Apollo moved so fast. Not because it was easy, but because the pressure was enormous. Then Apollo 11 landed. The flag went up. The world watched. And almost immediately, the urgency died. Apollo was canceled early. The Saturn V production line shut down. The F-1 engine factories closed. Suppliers disappeared. Tooling was scrapped. And the people who knew how to build the machine slowly left the industry. That is the part people miss. We didn't just stop going to the moon. We stopped being able to go the same way. Take the F-1 engine. 5 of them lifted the Saturn V with 7.5 million pounds of thrust. Each engine was hand-welded, hand-tuned, and shaped by people who learned through years of noise, heat, failure, and instinct. Not everything they knew was in the blueprints. Some of it lived in their hands. That kind of knowledge has a name: tacit knowledge. And when Apollo ended, it didn't get stored in a hard drive. It vanished. So when people ask, why don't we just rebuild Apollo? The answer is simple. Apollo was not just a rocket. It was an ecosystem. And we let that ecosystem die. Now fast forward to today. China has landed on the far side of the moon. China has returned samples from the far side of the moon. China says it wants astronauts there by 2030. And suddenly, the moon matters again. America is rebuilding deep space capability. Artemis is moving. SpaceX is testing Starship. New suits, landers, engines, factories, and supply chains are being built. But Artemis is not Apollo 2.0. Apollo was a sprint. Artemis is supposed to be infrastructure: reusable landers, lunar bases, surface power, fuel storage, habitats, and a long-term human presence near the moon. And that is harder than planting a flag. A faster computer does not weld a better combustion chamber. It does not stop liquid hydrogen from leaking. It does not build a spacesuit that survives lunar dust. Apollo proved what America could do when fear, money, talent, and urgency all pointed in the same direction. Then we declared victory, looked away, and let the muscle disappear. But now the race is waking up again. One engine test at a time, one failed weld at a time, one impossible machine at a time. Because maybe the real lesson of Apollo is this: humanity can reach the moon, but only when we are desperate enough to remember how. So hit follow before the Soviets, China, and your microwave all beat you back to the moon.